concert to 30,000 people the day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, warm. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my
loss, Jeff. It would have been a bad loss on the road. And I give him a lot of credit. Donovan Dent had a big second half. 22.6 assists. Philip Borovic 16 and 11, a 12 double-double for Nelly. Gutty, gritty, tough win.
Someone left the door open on the way in to freeze the Lobos out like they did in the first half. And at some point in time, you just got to hit a jump shot. It weren't necessarily bad shots or a ton of forced shots, just 1 of 16. He had that stretch where he missed 11 consecutive shots and just needed something to go. And it took the second half to start getting inside. Donovan Dent got going a little bit, and Elliot Jr. Joseph started to hit some shots midway through the second half, and the energy completely changed in that point in the second half. Wyoming, it was a combination of they were playing really hard in the game, and the Lobos were just really cold. And when things start to turn, you saw that the Cowboys just did not have enough in the tank, especially without their leading scorer playing in that game, and the Lobos raced them 43-21 in the second half.
You know, I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, they're getting run off the floor right now. First half, right? I mean, is that fair? They were down by 14 when they were shooting 1 for 16. I want to say they had 8 points at the under 4 minute timeout, right? That means they played over 16 minutes and had 8 points. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been 13 at that point. I think it was 13, and just getting run. And Wyoming's best player wasn't playing. You're like, holy smokes, what's going on here, right? Wyoming's best player is sitting on the bench. I'm interested where you are today, Lobo fan. And JJ, what do you think Lobo fans' reaction is? Is it, we got out of there with a
yes,
gutty win, or is, damn, we got problems and we can't let this happen?
No.
You had a bad half. I think bad half.
The amount that we talked about it, I think Lobo fans were talking about it a ton, and Rich Pitino's tried to deflect it, downplay it like crazy. The whole trap game narrative not being ready. I don't think it was a trap game. I think it was just a bad half of basketball, because they did allow a little bit of the shooting to affect them on the defensive end. There was easy baskets at the rim, the back
they were
cuts,
getting out rebounded in the first half,
just getting outplayed in the first half. And they talked about it. You're not going to pretend like it's not there. Of this is going to be tough. The energy, I understand. San Diego State's coming up next. What happened against Nevada? But you got to go out and get ready to play. But what they did in the second half shows you that there is a toughness to this team, and that is back-to-back games in which they weren't able to assert their style of play on the game, and they found a way to win that game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it. And when you have a season, and go back and look through anybody's, and I'm not telling you they're champions. I'm not telling you they're not. But go back and look through championship seasons. Every team's got a couple of games. And pick your sport. I don't care what it is. If it's football, there's a game where you skated by or maybe even got blued out, right? I mean, how many of those Chiefs championship years, right, did we see them get, or more so the Patriots? Remember the Patriots when Tom Brady was towards the end, and there'd be a Monday night or a Sunday night game for like 3 years in a row. Oh, they got blew out. They're done. People are yelling, they're done. I'm like, relax. And they came back and won a Super Bowl, right? There's a lot of these games. There's 30-something games. And on a Tuesday night, Laramie, Wyoming in January, were you poised for a letdown? I don't know if it was a letdown. Look, man, if you've ever played the game, there's nights where your shot's not going. And I remember when I was coaching AAU, and one of the greatest things, and the late Mike Danoff, who I love dearly, used to say this all the time, and he's right. What you can't control if your shot's going. Sometimes it goes, sometimes you're off. You control how you play defense, and you control how you rebound. And that's what they did in the second half. And I'll give it to them. And they just found a way in the second half. They made their free throws in the second half. Philip Borvichinen is getting more and more confidence. You have a Donovan Dent, and the better team asserted themselves in the second half. The better team became more confident, more assertive, and found another way to win on a night when they were not shooting the ball well. And overall, they shot 33.3% from the field, 19 of 57. 14 of 30 in the second half, which is, one shot off of 50%. So a lot better in the second half. But look, man, from where I sit, and I'm really curious, and let's open it up to you at 505-246-0610. That's the phone line and the text line, 505-246-0610. From where I sit, that's a gutty win after a really, and I say bad first half. It probably was, right? I don't know that you played well defensively. You didn't rebound well. You played a bad half of basketball and got out of a place that Nevada didn't get out, right? They beat Nevada up there. You got out of there with a win, and I'll chalk that up to getting better and learning how to win on the road. And that's, by the way, 3 wins on the road.
Yeah, it's just this team does have a toughness, even with them wanting to play fast, get out, and run. They've shown the ability that they can grind in games and pull themselves out of a grinder. They've done that the last 2 games. And it's also a reality, man. This is not a good shooting team overall.
We've known that from the beginning, right?
We've known that from the beginning. So if you get cold, it can look that much worse. Because for them hitting 5 3-point shots, it feels like that's their average game. But they're like, oh, we were so terrible last night. Well, you're not a good shooting team. So when you do get in a bit of a slump where you're not scoring at the rim early, Junior Joseph wasn't on. Maybe there's a couple possessions where they're able to wall off Donovan Dent and have some streaks like this.
2 of 9 in the first half, 3 of 12 in the second half from 3-point land. Philip Borovichinen hit 3 of the 5. And I thought Philip Borovichinen played well. He got 30 and a half minutes. He scored 16 points, had 11 rebounds for you. The other one, Jovan Milicevic, which was a pretty big one. And then Donovan Dent hit a 3-pointer. Mustafa Amzil 0 for 4. He didn't have a really good game. In fact, didn't score. And there was a point where he threw the ball away, and you could see the cutaway Richard Pitino.
Immediately benched him.
And pulled him right out of the game. Yeah.
It was that transition play where he threw it out of bounds. But I thought Jovan the last couple of games has been playing really well, giving them some consistent minutes at scoring punch at the 4 position.
Yeah, totally agree. And he was on the floor at the end of the game. And it's interesting. It's a different lineup. Like, this was a different lineup that was on the floor at the end of the Nevada game, right, with Milicevic out there. And so Richard Pitino is going to ride that and figure things out. All right, we got a ton today, a ton. And I'm really interested in what Global Fan you have to say. The number is 505-246-0610. So you watched it last night. They go on the road. They go up to Laramie. Is Wyoming a great team? No. Are they a good team? They're a decent team. Like this is a decent team, and it's like, go up and get a win, man. Go up and get one, and it's a road win in this league,
dude.
I don't care what league you're in.
This isn't a resume builder, but this could be a resume
herder,
shredder.
Yeah.
Like it's the reality of it. This is a game where in the course of trying to win a conference championship,
no doubt,
you got to have it. It doesn't matter how this one looks, and you've laid it out, and we've done this so many times that even fans know it. There's the games where you can be frustrated, like the Fresno State game, because you're rolling, you're up double digits, and at the end you're like,
that didn't even frustrate me.
But I mean, just from a standpoint of knowing that you had a double-digit lead, or even the Colorado State game. Like, there's certain games where, as a coach, knowing you're in control,
and you didn't finish,
finish. Okay, this one, it's not that. It's we just needed the dub, regardless of how it looked.
Get the hell out of there with a win, man. All right, when we come back, what does it mean historically? 5-0 start. What does it mean? And probably doesn't mean much, but I'll give you the numbers as where you are. The numbers to get in: 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. Emails, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. If you're not following JJ Buck, you're missing out. Just go over there. Next time you're thumbing through it, just follow JJ Buck. He's a great follow on the X. On the Facebook, the OD and the AM, you can watch the show there. You can see JJ Buck's handsome face and, right through me. It's on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. Adrian's producing on ProView Network's YouTube channel and Xfinity Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico. When we come back, they haven't done it since when? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, packed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
And get one in beautiful Laramie, Wyoming. Lobos win last night 61-53. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Give my voice a rest. Let's hear from you at 505-246-0610. Fighting through it. I made a determination by tomorrow I want to be better. Do I get to
I wish it worked that way.
It doesn't. Like, I don't get to just.
I'm going to be better by
I said I'm going to be better by Thursday because I am. Yeah, everybody's had the funk, right? Everybody's been fighting through the funk.
Everyone has the funk.
Everyone's got the funk.
You're going to get the
Everyone's
funk.
got the funk. So I got it now. Everybody got the funk. It's my turn. You're going to get the funk. Lobos got the funk in the second half. They got funky with it, and they had a big second half. JJ, first time the Lobos have been 5-0 in the Mountain West since, well, ever. It is the first time ever the Lobos are 5-0 in the Mountain West.
A little surprised by that.
I was too. I was too. Now, the league is 26 years old, and the Lobos have never been 5-0. It's pretty. It's impressive. Now, here you haven't played Utah State, San Diego State, Boise State yet, right?
That is correct.
All right. But the schedule's what the schedule. I'm not downplaying it. Please don't take it that way. I'm not downplaying it. You play who's in front of you, right? But it's impressive. It is so the best conference starts in Lobo history. 12-0, and yes, it still counts. I listened to Bob Clark this morning. Was that still count in the border conference? Yeah, it still counts.
They're keeping records.
Yeah. They had pencils and papers, and back then might not have put it into the
might
computer.
have been chili baskets, but it still counted.
No, I mean I think they even had metal hoops back in the 40s. 1940. You don't think in the 40s they had metal baskets?
Busy using the metal for something else in 44.
They had wooden backboards. But not glass backboards. 12-0 in the 1944-1945 season in the border conference. And then 10-0 in the 77-78 season when they were in the WAC. Those are the best seasons, or best starts. How about that? The best starts for Louisville basketball. 8 o'clock, we'll hear what Richard Pitino had to say on the post-game show. And you listen to Philip Borvichin and drop another F-bomb on they keep running about on the post-game show. Did he drop another F-bomb on there?
No one noticed.
So good. No one knows.
Don't tell anybody.
I mean, he said, frankly, we won the game.
Frankly, I looked at the clock.
Frankly,
I thought we lost.
Frankly, I said, frankly, I think we lose.
I know.
We lose the game.
Well, he will gladly keep doing those post-game interviews if he keeps playing this way.
What do you think of this? How's this night? He might like Laramie, Wyoming. And 16 points, career high. 11 rebounds, career high. 3 3-point shots made, a career high. And his first double-double of his career. I don't know. If I'm Sundance Wicks, the head coach up there, hey, Philip, you want to come play up here? You can do that all the time.
Start untying his shoes.
Isn't that the truth?
Well, it's with Philip. It was the classic hype, but you have to grow into it. Yeah, the Lobos had expectations, but he's never done that. You step into a place that they expect you to go right away, and it just wasn't going to be that way. But then you're seeing his talent, his length, athleticism, just the confidence, man. It takes time. Even when you're a talented player, when you go in and it's not just a talented guy that, he's the number 2. He's started the season well down the order of guys that were getting opportunities. Now we're seeing him. He can be a number 2 on the floor for this team. But it's growth. It takes a little bit of time. He's growing into that role, and he was phenomenal, and he's been good for the Lobos over the last few games.
Yeah, and look, I think it's like anything else. You just got to get comfortable, right? They got to get comfortable with you. You got to get comfortable. He was in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season. He was pulled out of the starting lineup for a few games, and now he's back in, and he's established a spot. And to your point, I mean, if you're going to say, all right, it's Donovan Dent is number 1, but who is the number 2 scoring option on this team right now? It would be Nelly Jr. Joseph if you go through the post, but on the perimeter or outside of back to the basket, it's probably him at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's what you want is that depth. You know that more times than not, it is going to be Dent, Joseph, and Amsdale that are that core. But it's always, I talk to coaches about it. It's who your go-to players are, but there's going to be times where you say, all right, who's going to get us to that point that we know our best player is going to take us over that finish? Well, and Borvichin is not just one of those players that get you to that point. He's showing you that he can also contribute at that point.
He's the only Lobo field goal percentage over 50% yesterday. Nelly was 50% at 5 for 10, but Borvichin was 6 for 10. Let me give you so you had 17 of your 19 field goals from those 3 guys. Let me give you, this is what you were dealing with last night, Laramie. Donovan Dent made 6 shots. Borvichin made 6. Nelly made 5. That's 17. The Lobos made 19 shots. That's it. 19 out of 57. True Washington, 1 for 7. Mustafa Amsil, 0 for 7. Jovan Milicevic, 1 for 5. CJ Nolan, 0 for 3. Atiki, 0 for 1. Dotson, 0 for 1. Appelhans didn't take a shot. I mean, Borvichin better score. I mean, honestly, good thing you brought him.
Yeah, he was there. You could argue him being the MVP
of last night's game.
It's one of those like, all right, you know what you're getting
out of Donovan.
Out of Donovan Dent, right? And you get that, but it's all right, who can help? And that was just, man, one of those games where absolutely put your hard hat on, grab your sledgehammer, and go to work. Because it wasn't one where like, oh, man, they just couldn't get it going. There's turnovers. Lobos turned it over 10 times. Wyoming turned it over 11 times. It was just brick city. Hopefully you hit a shot. If not, you better be rebounding.
Yeah. All right, text line says, a win is a win. Go Lobos. And I feel that way. All right, you ready to take a shot? You know how I take shots all the time? Dudes take their run at me. This guy wonders, I wonder if JJ even watches Mountain West basketball. This isn't what you said. He said Laramie is always a trap game. Every single year for every single team. To say that it's not says you don't know anything about Mountain West Conference basketball. Look at the other games that have been played there with or without their best player. You acknowledged the whole time this was a trap game, didn't you?
I never said it wasn't a trap game. What I was saying in that first segment is Richard Pitino was downplaying the fact that it wasn't a trap game. His team was not going to fall in that trap. He said that specifically in the pregame interview with Robert Portnoy.
Yeah, that's what JJ was saying, what Pitino said. JJ's acknowledged the whole time this was a trap game. We all did. Right? You're coming off the emotion of the 1,000th.
You think I am, dude? Honestly, like, who do you...
I'm
just making this up on the fly.
I got your back here on this because that's not what you said. People say all the time. I get texts all the time. Jeff's an idiot. Yeah, no, that's not what I said. And sometimes I'll own it. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But no, JJ acknowledged that the whole time. It is a trap game. All right, 505-246-0610. Coming up at 8:00, we'll hear what Richard Pitino had to say after the game about winning in Laramie, finding a way to win in the second half. I wonder what he said at halftime. And we'll get into all that. When we come back, Bears want to talk to Mike McCarthy. What the Cowboys said. The Raiders are looking for a new coach. Since last we spoke, they have fired Antonio Pierce. Latest on the NFL, and tomorrow we're back at college football's playoff. It's the opening drive, 505-246-0610. Thanks for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Center.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
It out yet. The Bears, I don't know how you rank them. You can rank them however you want. Raiders are now in there. But you've got the Jets and the Bears and the Saints, the Raiders, the Jaguars. What's the best job? Is it the Jags? Is it the Patriots? It's one of those where you got a quarterback, right? And I don't know if I think it's the Bears. Like, I think the Jaguars is the best job.
That one is a challenge because
the owner?
Not the owner. I really don't have a problem with Shad Khan.
Okay.
It's a Trent Baalke one. You know, he's
the GM. Yeah.
Doesn't have a good reputation around the league.
Yeah.
He was
and he
in San Francisco when he was butting heads with Jim Harbaugh, and everyone's like, oh, no, it's just Harbaugh's so weird. He's hard to work with. No, it seems like Harbaugh is not the issue there. Baalke's one of those guys that's just able to keep his job, keep crawling. And that would, because I would look at that roster and you still, have the faith just in the back of your mind, right? With Trevor Lawrence, like, if I'm going to be the guy that goes in there. They've drafted pretty well. They hit a home run with their first round pick this year. Brian Thomas went over 1,000 yards. They have some pass rushers, but something's missing.
I think the way I would rank them is Jaguars 1, Patriots 2. And I say Patriots 2 because they have a quarterback, they have a draft pick, they have an owner who will spend some money, and I think their roster is better than we think, although we went into this thinking that it was the worst roster in the NFL. I got Bears at 3, and they're unstable in the front office a little bit, but again, quarterback and a decent roster, a decent defense, they got weapons. You could rank them higher. I got Jets 4, just because I think the Raiders and the Saints are worse than the Jets, right? I look at
this. And it's also a snapshot of the next 3 to 4 years, if you can make it there as a head coach. Because the one thing the Bears, you can say, oh, Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, okay, but do you believe in the Lions? Do you believe in the Packers? Do you believe in the Vikings?
Well, sure.
So you're going to have to climb that
sustainable
ladder.
Yeah.
Versus, well, if you go in the Patriots, can you become the second best team in that division?
Or if you're the Jaguars, can you be the best team in that division? Well, then throw the Saints in there, because then do the Saints move up, because that's a division that Tampa Bay wins every year, and I give them credit for winning every year, but somebody's got to win that division, and the rest of that division's been god-awful.
And
right?
Tampa Bay's still losing 7 games.
Yeah. No, the rest of the division, Atlanta has been bad, Panthers have been horrible, and the Saints have been bad. And so do you say, well, give me the Saints, and then you look at their cap situation, you realize it's the worst cap situation in the NFL. Do they have a quarterback? Yeah, they have a quarterback. Is it a great quarterback situation? It's not, but is it serviceable? Can you win with Derek Carr? Yeah, I think you can. So maybe is that a better situation than the Raiders? Because the Raiders are in quarterback purgatory.
Because the Raiders, you're having that same conversation in terms of what are you trying to climb the next few years, and that's Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, that's Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and now it's Sean Payton and Bo Nix.
Yeah. The Bears wanted to talk to Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy has been denied permission by Jerry Jones to speak with the Bears. Does that lead you to? I mean, it should lead you to believe that the Cowboys are going to re-sign him. Now, what would be jacked up is Jerry says, nope, you cannot talk to them. They hire and he doesn't re-sign Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy could have had a job, right? That would be that's him keeping Cooper Rush off the field, keep Cooper Rush from his $500,000 bonus. Don't you think?
Yes.
But they denied it. The Bears are going to interview Pete Carroll, who's 73. He doesn't feel like he's 73, but he's 73. He's got interest in the job. They're going to interview Joe Brady, the Bills' offensive coordinator. They're going to interview Mike Vrabel, who everybody wants to interview. They're going to interview their interim coach, Thomas Brown, Ben Johnson of the Lions, Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator. They got a long list. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what they're targeting. I think they need to go offense with this. I do. Offensive head coaches, and Colin Cowherd hits this all the time. Offensive head coaches with young quarterbacks do a lot better. Hire a really good defensive coordinator, turn your defense over to somebody, and be an offensive-minded coach. You're going the other way on this?
I've slowed down on that a little bit because of what happened in Washington.
Because Dan Quinn's a defensive guy and really was able, and brought in Cliff Kingsbury.
I think it's a situation where I have a young quarterback. Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying I have to get an offensive guy to go with him. Of course, you want to get the offensive coordinator right in any of these situations. But do you need that stability first? Yeah. Look, that veteran presence in a situation like that.
So and I don't think it's lock stock. I agree with you. I'm not as 100% sold on it. But of the names there, like I would go offense, and that's just me. You're right. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator in Dallas and a really good one. He goes into Washington. They draft a quarterback. He brings Cliff Kingsbury in, and Jaden Daniels becomes probably rookie of the year, right? Probably with Bo Nix. One of the hottest names, and he will get a job, is Mike Vrabel. He's a defensive guy, right? And so you can cite me instances where it worked either way and did not work either way. One of the hot examples are Sean McVay, what he does with quarterbacks, Kyle Shanahan, and what he does with quarterbacks, and now Kevin O'Connell.
Well, Kevin O'Connell, there was that stretch a few years ago where it was, who's coming off Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay's tree.
I mean, anybody who ever had dinner with Sean McVay's getting a job.
And there's trends in everything. This last cycle, it was rough, right? For Mayo and Pierce, and you look at that and you're like, all right, well, both those situations, I look at, all right, and was it really the coaching that was the problem? Like, what are you doing?
Look,
with your franchise.
How do you feel about the owner? And we went into this season and we pulled those win totals out, right? It was 3.5 or 4.5 for the Patriots, and the Raiders what were the Raiders? 5.5. So they were both expected to be really bad. You had bad rosters. I don't know what Mark Davis wanted from Antonio Pierce with that quarterback situation. I don't know what he expected. And I sure as hell don't know what Robert Kraft expected putting Gerard Mayo in there. There was no interview process.
The Kraft one to be so...
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Like, I put him in such a bad spot. Then why did you...
Then don't fire him. They give him support.
Yeah, like, what?
Right. Bring guys in to support him.
That made
100%.
Not a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. You're so compassionate and you love the guy so much. Then instead of firing his ass, support him and bring in guys. And I'll bet he's probably pissed that he cost that won the game and cost him the first overall pick. That probably put it over the top. But instead, if you really feel that way, Robert Kraft's out there almost crying. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, and I love Gerard, and I put him in. This one's on me, and I put him in a bad situation. Yeah, you did. You absolutely did. Well, then instead of firing him, go out and bring in an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator and leadership and go get a roster that's going to freaking help him. Instead of getting rid of him and standing up there and falling on the sword and saying it's on me, and now he's going to go get Vrabel. We wanted to be. He
was still comfortable. They wanted to move on from Belichick, but he stayed in that comfortable position, hiring Mayo, bringing him in. Mike Vrabel was available last year, right?
He was, and I think that's where. I mean, every sign says he's going there, right? I mean, if Vrabel's going to end up where? Vrabel's getting a job. There's 6 of them.
I would look at New England and Chicago, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's New England.
Pushing for him.
And then this Jerry Jones thing is fascinating to me because his contract expires today. The Cowboys have exclusive negotiating rights through
the 14th.
The 14th. Well, they have an exclusive negotiating rights through the 14th, but a contract expires Wednesday, which is today's Wednesday, right? So it doesn't matter because nobody else can talk to him through the 14th. When's the 14th? It's 8 and...
That's when his contract expires.
Next Tuesday? So at midnight Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right. If Jerry Jones does not re-sign him, and the Bears... I mean, the Bears got to move. The Bears are going to... Odds are within the next 7 days, Bears are going to have a coach, right?
This would feel like you have to be bringing him back if you're not allowing him to go interview.
It would be the biggest Richard move ever, right? Just what an absolute... So you wouldn't let the guy interview for another job, and you're going to hold him till the very end, and then you're going to let him go? And I'm not telling you... This has nothing to do with whether he should or should not be the Cowboys coach. I can entertain both ways. It doesn't affect my life one way or the other. I think Mike McCarthy's a good coach. Obviously, a lot of other people who know the NFL way better than I do or you do think Mike McCarthy's a good coach. Now, if you want to tell me it's time for the Cowboys to make a change and move on to another good coach, I can listen to that. I can. Sometimes, guys, it runs its course and you just need to make it. I can listen to that. If you want to tell me, you know what, Mike McCarthy's done good things there. The players love him. He had a depleted roster. They were beat up, and they're not going to do any better. I can listen to that too. But what would be really hard to stomach, just as a human being, is if Mike McCarthy's fine financially. He's not going to have to worry about how he's going to go on vacation next month. But if there was a chance that Mike McCarthy was going to get the Bears job, and somebody said yesterday, he looks like a Bears coach. He does, man. He's perfect. He looks like he should be the coach of Chicago. He looks like he should
be in an SNL skit.
Yes, he looks like he should be the coach of Chicago.
Oh, Bears.
But if Mike McCarthy had a chance to be the Bears coach, and you denied him that opportunity and then don't bring him back, I mean... How do you stand in front of the mic and justify that? Well, we were having conversations with Mike and without we were moving forward, and when we sat down, we just realized that we're going to go in a different direction. And Mike can't get that job. I mean, that would be the ultimate. That's a hard one to get off you. That stink, isn't it? That's like, and also you bench Cooper Rush, so you didn't give him a $500,000 bonus. Well, wanted to see Trey Lance play because Trey's a great young player, throws a great ball. What the hell? No, honestly, that's where, and Jim Rome beats him up. Come on, old man. At that point, it's like, what are you doing, dude? But we'll see. Maybe they do bring him back. This has to lead you to believe that he's coming back to the Cowboys, right? It has to.
Yes, that's the first thought when I saw that they did not allow him to speak with the Bears.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, how important is it to have the best quarterback in your division? I'll quantify it for you next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505 294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have.
All right, so how important is it to have a quarterback? Stupid question, Jeff. I mean, duh. I got it. Obviously, the most important position in all of sports. But how do you quantify it? All right, let me give you something. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. You can get in today, 505-246-0610. We'll hear what Richard Pitino had to say after the Lobos win last night. That'll be at 8 o'clock this morning. JJ, I'm going to go through divisions. Tell me who the best quarterback in that division is, okay? AFC East, Buffalo, Miami, New England, Jets. Who's the best quarterback?
Josh Allen.
AFC North, Lamar, Joe Burrow. This one's closer. Deshaun or Russ. It's the guy with the 3 MVPs, dude, or the 2 MVPs. It is. I mean, I know that. Do you think Joe Burrow is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go with Lamar. I'm going to go with the guy with 2 MVPs over the guy that went to 1 Super Bowl and hadn't been in the playoffs since. AFC South, Stroud, Richardson, Trevor Lawrence, or whatever the Titans throw out there.
Stroud, then Lawrence.
All right, says Stroud. AFC West, Mahomes, and everybody else.
And that shakes up the way the standings show.
All right, so you said you and I differ on the North, and you're wavering on the differing. Allen, Buffalo won. They were the champions. Lamar, they were the champions. Stroud, they were the champions. Mahomes, they were the champions of that division. NFC East, Hurts, Prescott, whatever the Giants have, or Daniels. It's Hurts right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. NFC North. It's a little tougher. Goff, Love, Darnold, Caleb Williams.
It's Jared Goff.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
NFC South, Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix, Derek Carr, Bryce Young.
Baker, the touchdown maker.
NFC West, Kyler, Stafford, Purdy, Geno.
Stafford.
All of them won their division. All 8 divisions were won, I think, and you and I will differ a little bit on the AFC North, and there's an argument between Joe Burrow and Lamar, and the guy who's won 2 MVPs and may win a third. All 8 divisions were won by the best quarterback in the division. Now, it doesn't happen every year, but it sure as hell happened this year. How important is it to have a good quarterback?
It's gigantic. It's why 6 went in the first round last year. It's why you're talking yourself into quarterbacks that might not be first round quarterbacks, but that's where you got to get them because you're taking those chances on said quarterbacks.
Top 3 picks in the draft. Who's the worst quarterback in this South? Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. Look at that. They have the number 1 pick, the Titans. They have the worst quarterback situation. AFC North, worst quarterback situation is the 2nd pick. NFC East, the Giants have the worst quarterback situation. They have the 3rd pick of the draft. I mean, it's look, man, I'm not telling you it's a guarantee, but what I'm telling you is if you don't have one, you're not winning. Now, can you win without an A quarterback? You can. You can, although when was the last time it was done?
Well, it's all about where you're at as a franchise, because when we look at guys that have come in and have been able to have a solid base and take a step. We've watched it with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, Sam Darnold this season in Minnesota. But a reminder, Baker Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick. Sam Darnold was number 3 overall pick.
Yeah. No, look, I'm not arguing with you. It's all right. When was the last time? And here's your championship quarterbacks. It was Foles. So it was Mahomes, Stafford, Brady, Mahomes, Brady. Isn't it crazy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 of the last 6 have been Mahomes or Brady. Then you have the Nick Foles year. Okay, so that's your guy. And then it was Brady, Elway, Brady.
Elway?
That's not right, is it?
Manning?
Yeah, Manning. I'm sorry. Elway. What am I telling? Elway. Yeah, Manning in 16. Yep. 2015. Who won the damn game? Brady. Russell Wilson. At that time, he was an A quarterback. And then Joe Flacco would be the next one. Right? To say he wasn't just an A quarterback. He's a B quarterback, right?
But Flacco's a first-round pick.
He was. All right.
Wilson was the
throw him
3rd round pick.
So throw him in, but Wilson was an A quarterback at that time.
Yeah.
All right. So all right. Then put Flacco up there. Fine. Then he was good. Then it was Eli. Then it was Rodgers. Then it was Drew Brees. Then it was Roethlisberger. Then it was Eli. Then it was Peyton. Then it was Roethlisberger. Then it was Brady. Who was Tampa Bay? So all the way back to 2003. Who was Tampa Bay's quarterback? Was that Brad Johnson? I mean, that's all I'm telling you. That's how you quantify.
That's why you take chances on these guys in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally what it means. So who are the potential free agent quarterbacks, right? As you're looking, here's, bless it. I mean, your list here is unbelievable. So if you're the Raiders, you're one of these teams that isn't going to have a top of the Jets. What are the Jets going to do if they don't go? And you don't, is Rodgers a potential free agent quarterback or is he under contract?
He's under contract.
Are they keeping him? Gut. No, right?
No, I don't feel with the new coach, general manager, that they would keep him around.
Are any of these guys the answer for anybody? The one at the top of the list is Sam Darnold. But I think the Vikings are going to franchise tag him. Here's your potential NFL free agent quarterbacks. Tell me, stop me when you hear the answer. To any of them, to whoever. Russell Wilson. What is Pittsburgh going to do?
They have to re-sign one of those guys.
Well, it would be Russ, right? And they're going to have to pay him a little bit. Like, what's Russell? Is he a $40 million quarterback?
No.
In today's market?
No.
Is he a Baker Mayfield? $30 million? Okay. Justin Fields, Jameis, Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Mac Jones, Jim Garoppolo, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Mason Rudolph, Marcus Mediocre, Cooper Rush, Carson Wentz, Taylor. I mean, stop me when you hear one. All right, Lobos were winners last night. What did Richard Pitino have to say after a game in which they shot 6% early on, 1 for 16, 18.5% in the first half, and then come back and cover the spread? Winners in Laramie. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, big win on the road last night. Lobos get it in Laramie, 61-53 after trailing by 14 at halftime. Donovan Dent, 22.6 assists. Philip Borovichin in his first career double-double, 16 and 11 rebounds. Nelly Jr. Joseph, 12 points, 12 rebounds. Lobos improved to 5-0 in conference play, the first time they have ever been 5-0 in Mountain West play. It's the opening drive. Good morning to you, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Lots to do today. Got to talk about the big win for the Bay golf team or whatever. Did you watch the golf league at all? Tell me you watched a little. It was so cool, dude. All right, you don't have to. You were at the gym. You forgot about it, didn't you? It was, first of all, the facility is insane. They got this big, gigantic, they got a screen that you hit into that's 5 stories high. They're hitting off of grass, off of sand, off of turf. They tee it up. They got a crowd. They got this green with these, it fluctuates for each hole. It's
I'll give it a try.
It's awesome.
It's kind of hard time of year.
I got it.
Get away from the other stuff.
Yeah,
that's going on. I'd be all over this in the summer, but that's also tour season.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's much different. Now I will say I would like a little more twist to it. I know they threw some stuff in there, but man, you're hitting to a screen. Like you can do more video game like stuff. I know there's, I guess they had some lava, but I want to see so.
Well, the way the holes are designed is crazy, dude. I mean, they're not like water. They design holes to make it really, really hard.
Yeah, and
with hazards,
you should
everywhere.
have a couple things that aren't possible in real life.
Yeah, and then you go to the green with the traps, and the green. It changes the undulations in the green. Like they've got these platforms, and each time it moves, and it was good. It was really, really good. And that between that 7 o'clock, the end of the Florida, what did I watch? Florida, Tennessee, and then the Lobo game. That was good watching. All right, and then also our thoughts. I mean, LA is on fire, dude. Have you looked at what's going on in Southern? There's 4 fires going on right now in Southern California, and I know Adrian, who produces for us on ProView, has got lots of family. I do too. We all know people there. It not just Palisades now, but there's 4 of them going. It went in Pasadena, 100-mile-an-hour winds. I talked to my mom yesterday, and she was okay. My brother, but it's like 100 mile. It's like hurricane force winds, and it's super dry, and everything's just torching. It's tragic what's going on there, and our thoughts certainly are with the people in Southern California. All right. So let's go through this. Richard Pitino talked to Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green on the postgame show over on News Radio KKOB and the UNM Sports Radio Network last night after the game. Reality is they were not good in the first half. Lobos shot 1 for 16 to start the game, 5 for 27 in the first half. That's 18.5%. At one point, they were 6%. This is against a Wyoming team that was playing without their best player. They were down 14 at half for New Mexico. And they come back and had a huge second half. End up winning the game 61-53. This is Richard Pitino after the game on just finding a way to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, we changed up our ball screen coverage. They were really hurting us. In the first half, we were aggressively hedging, and they were bothering us. So we changed into a drop coverage with the 5, which I thought helped. But the biggest thing that we did was just picked up our intensity. It was such a low percentage possession game. And then when you only make 5 shots in the first half, it was really, really hard. So we were just ready to go. We had to show them, like, you're not going to knock us out this early. And responded, obviously, 43-21 in the second half was great.
43-21 second half. They got outscored 32-18, so they got outscored by 14 in the first half. But a 43-point. So how do you? I mean, like JJ, it's almost unfathomable, right? You have 18 points in one half and 43 in the next.
How did you feel at halftime? Bad as that first half was, I'm like, this is going to be a game at some point in the second half. Are they just going to be able to keep it going once they got it back to even?
I did feel they were going to get into it, and then they come out. What was it, 17-1 to start the second half? So they come out on a 17-1 second half run. I don't know what Richard said at halftime. I don't know what he told them. He said, according to Jeff Grammer, that it starts on defense. That's the only way we're going to get back in this game is with our defense, and they did. And the other way is when you're not making shots, especially jump shots. And in the first half, I mean, look, man, I told you they made, 16 shots, and 3 guys, Borvichin and Nelly and Dent, made 16 of their 19. They only got three buckets somewhere else. They had to start going inside on the offense.
First, obviously, we only made 5 threes. With the way teams are guarding Donnie, you have to make threes. You have to. And Jovan obviously came in, made a huge one. But everybody, they're just collapsing and daring people to shoot. He found Phillip a couple times, which was great. Even True had a wide open shot that he missed in the corner. But if teams are going to dare us to shoot, our guys are going to knock them down.
Well, they didn't knock them down yesterday. I mean, they didn't shoot real well. And in fact, Philip Borvichin was 6 of 10. He was the only one who shot real well. Nelly was 5 of 10 by going inside. 3 of 6 from 3-point for Philip Borvichin. And JJ, you and I both, this is the guy. And again, I told you early on, I was impressed with him defensively, physically, lengthwise. If he can continue to be really their number 2 option offensively, especially on the perimeter, they obviously they needed him to be. Because
he's showing you he's the guy that can step up, that there's players along the way that will help you get to the end to where you can then go to your guys at the finish line. And it just takes some time. And he was someone that never had this role in terms of getting the playing time opportunity, and he's growing into that.
Yeah, let's go to that because Robert and Hunter asked Pitino specifically about Phillip after the game and the confidence that's growing with Borvichin.
Really, really good. Rebounding the basketball. Love the confidence. We brought him here to be that guy, to be the big guard that we need from a defensive standpoint. His offense is starting to come along. He just works his butt off. A great kid. So he's been really helpful. And I think the rebounding part has really helped us as well. I mean, he gets a double-double and made some huge threes.
Yeah. No, he did. He was 3 of 6 from 3-point land, and he's becoming that dude. And you can see it. I mean, if you have eyes, right, you could just see he feels more comfortable than me. Why are you laughing at that?
Funny comment.
Well, right.
If you have eyes.
If you have eyes, right? I mean, but if you're watching the game, right, what do your eyes tell you watching him from about, a month and a half ago?
Yeah, just a confident player in his abilities, but also his role. And you have to have that willingness, too, because it's understandable. You come in, it's Dent, Joseph, and Amzil. And the last thing that you want to do is also just start playing out of character, just doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't give you that opportunity, put you back on the bench.
All right, down 14 at halftime. They come out on a 17-1 run, and this is what you were just talking about. I felt that they were going to come out on a run. That wasn't the Lobos, right? That wasn't you just didn't think they were going to shoot 5 of 27 all night long, 18% all night long. Richard was asked about the response at the beginning of the second half?
Guys really responded well at halftime. I got on them pretty good, and they were ready to go. I think you're always going to have a couple of these a year, and especially here with the altitude plus their style of play, they want to make it a rock fight. And I've always said it's easier to pull the reins back and slow a game down. We're not going to turn teams over 25 times. It's just not going to happen. So you're just going to have to – it's like a trip to the dentist, but you got to figure it out. And like you said, 17-1 run, amazing to do that on the road was really, really good.
It was, and I'll bet he got into him at halftime. You could see he was choked. He was angry, and he should have been, right? There's no margin for error. You know that. They know that. He knows that. And they needed – every once in a while you need to be kicked in the ass. You just do. And I'm going to guess he did that. Bottom line is, you go on the road, you get punched in the face. Let me ask you this before we go here. When I hear Brian Dutcher, or I hear Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's coach, or I hear San Jose State, Tim Miles talk about the altitude going up there, I kind of get it, coming from sea level. When you're coming from 5,200 to 7,200 feet, is it a big difference, you think?
Well, when we go to Laramie,
yeah, do you feel it?
I'll spend some time on the treadmill,
yeah,
to let you know,
yeah.
But it's one that doesn't hit home as much.
Yeah,
I know what you're hinting at.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you're an altitude team. I get it. It's a little bit higher, but it's not quite the same.
Because people come into the pit all the time and talk. You boast about the altitude. It is your. You walk down the ramp. It's a mile high and louder than. It's in your hype video. If you're hyping altitude, can you go up there and use the altitude as an excuse?
Not like the other teams can.
I don't know that I ever heard him say that before about going anywhere and with the altitude up there. Yeah, no, it's thin air. It's 7220. It's higher, 2,000 feet higher than here. But when you're there for 48 hours or 40 hours, I don't know. I've been there a number of times. I've never felt the big difference. I've been there, but I don't play at that elite level athlete level. When I heard that, I'm like, huh. I've never heard him say that before. Anyway, bottom line is it's a tough victory, and it's one of those that I think hardens you, sharpens you, gets you tougher for the rest of the year.
It's like golf. They always say there's no pictures on the scorecard. Like, you just got to find a way to get it done. To come on the road, that's our third league win on the road. Was tremendous, and it was a toughness game because we sometimes can be perceived as fast pace, and flamboyant. No, we got to go win some gritty games on the road, and we did that.
Yeah, they did. And I told you this earlier. Every year, and go pick your team. And I'm not telling you they're a championship team. I'm not telling you they're not. But every year, find yourself a championship team, and there's going to be a number of these kind of games. There's going to be a few of these where, man, you didn't look good, but you figured it out. And I'll argue they look good in the second half. Hell, 43-21 in the second half. They did not play well. It was one bad half of basketball, and they didn't let it knock them down. They overcame it. And I think in the long run, you grow from that.
You go 46% from the field.
Yeah.
12 of 13 at the free throw line.
In the second half.
Yeah.
All right, 505-246-0610. What do you think? Global fan, let's go. We've got a nice win last night. We've got a few of you that are in. I'll get you what you had to say. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, the OD and the AM. Adrian's producing there. You can watch the show. You can find it wherever you want. We even have an app. Who knew? We have an app, the Sports Animal app. You should download that as well. Hey, how about a gift for you? You took care of everybody else this holiday season. Now, how about you? How about a fantastic car detailing service from On the Spot Automotive Detailing? I talk about them all the time because they're really good, because I love the service, because they're best in the city, because they take the time to make sure your car looks and feels and smells brand new. Not only that, they offer ceramic coating and paint protection film, keep scratches and stains off your vehicle, and they do window tinting. Get your gift for yourself today at otsdetailing.com. Oh, and they come to you. You don't take your vehicle to them. How does that work, Jeff? I don't know. I don't know where they are. It doesn't matter. They know where I am. They come to my office whilst I'm working, and they'll do it for you too. That's what they do. They're out in the parking lot, and they detail your vehicle. And when they are done, you go outside, and everybody's standing around going, how do I get it? It's pretty easy. On-the-spot automotive detailing at otsdetailing.com, otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfasfa.com.
61-53, they're down by, 32-18 at halftime. Richard Pitino was impressed with the win. They covered the spread, so if you bet them, you were impressed with the win. It was 6.5, they won by 8, right? Bourne says, not that great of a win, Jeff. It's hard to get excited about a, quote, comeback, end quote, when the other guys scored 53 points. You got to blow everybody out, dude. So Bourne's not that.
I thought it was going to be double digits, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I don't let my expectations change what happens when I use my eyes.
If you got
see how a game plays out.
If you have eyes.
What you have to deal with in a game.
Text line says that was a great victory for the Lobos, an awesome victory. Unfortunately, what it most likely means is that someone is going to make Richard Pitino an offer he can't refuse, and we're going to be looking for another coach next year. It's the second person who said that to me today, and it's 8:19 in the morning. So you think the Wyoming game is the one that pushed it over the top? Like last night's game was the one that pushed
Won't
Richard.
be Saturday or Utah State or Boise State. It's last night's game.
It's a comeback win in Wyoming on a Tuesday night, not winning if they can beat San Diego State on CBS.
Do what you got to do.
Or getting to the NCAA tournament. Look, man, I think you all realize if they get back to the tournament, there's a real good chance Richard's gone. Yeah, you get that. That's how this is going to work. Somebody comes and offers him $3.5 million to go back east somewhere, or even out west or wherever. But why do you think last night's game is the one that put it over the top? That of all the conclusions you drew from last night, that was an interesting one. All right, Rudy. Good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Rudy. Hello, Rudy.
You know, some people are unbelievable. When did Richard say he was leaving New Mexico? I guess I missed that.
No, he didn't say. He never said he's staying forever either. But I mean, the reality is what the reality is going to be one day. Whatever, and when it comes, he'll deal with it.
Whatever day that is,
yeah,
it's in the future, and it has nothing to do with last night.
I agree.
You know, why don't you appreciate what you have and talk about that instead of always this doom and gloom and some people really bug me. I'm heading out to Gallup today, so you know I got a good little patch here that I can talk for a second. I'm not so sure that we're a bad shooting team. But I think what's going on is we don't know where the shots are coming from, and that creates doubt. And, you know, when you have doubt in your shot, you're not going to make it. And I think what happened with Phillip is he decided last night, I'm going to shoot the ball to make it. And I think we can improve our shot selection. The first half, we were just casting up shots and just trying to get through the game and not playing the game, and that's a recipe for disaster. I don't know many Lobo teams down 14 at half that have ever come back. So when people say, "Oh, they only scored 63 points," yeah, that was the worst shooting because of what they were doing. They were panicking and shooting shots in panic rather than to make them. And you keep getting behind, and then you get dunked on a couple of times, and before you know it, you were reeling. And thank goodness for a second half, and thank goodness for half times. Because whatever Richard said worked. I want the guy to stay as long as we can keep him, and we keep filling the pit up. You know, there's money for coaches.
Fair enough. Safe travels out to Gallup, man. Appreciate you. Let me give you this. To what he says there's not a lot of Lobo teams that come back from 14 down. You're like, yeah, there are plenty of them. Actually, the 14-point halftime comeback, JJ, was the fourth best in program history. That means that's the fourth largest deficit they've ever overcome at halftime. Now, how many times are they down by 14 or more at halftime? I don't know the answer to that. But that is the fourth largest halftime deficit they've ever overcome in the history of the program. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, it's my perspective on this is, you know, they basically shredded the team, and we have a lot of new players that they're trying to learn how the combinations are going to work well or not work well.
Sure.
You know, games are played to build your quality of team for the end of the season, and obviously you have to win games to get there. So they got the win, but I might say really what I want to say is, you know, these are building blocks to get better. No athlete's going to go out there and be undefeated through a season. They're going to learn how to fight or do whatever sport you happen to be to get better each game, to find your weaknesses, to look for. You want to go against good competition to see where you need help to get better for the end of the season. You do have to qualify to get there to compete for the trophies. But I think this was a good win. I know it's a good, and it's going to show our weaknesses to not only us but other teams. But it's going to be able to improve on those weaknesses. And the other thing is, what is when they fly into Denver? Do they still have that road trip? So wasn't that bus ride to Laramie?
I think they JJ, you can help me with this. Did they charter into Laramie last night?
If it's a charter, you go into Laramie.
Yeah, you can charter straight into Laramie.
Oh, okay. So they used to have that long ride from Denver, didn't they? Not anymore.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if they chartered last night or not. I know they charter many of their trips now. But yeah, they used to be, you'd fly into Denver and then take that trip up, and yeah, it went a lot of fun.
And that's what used to make it tough. You know, they had the flight, then they had the ride, and they had the game. I mean, I think any team going into Laramie, that was already, as we'd like to sell the idea of Mile High.
Yep.
You know, and so, I mean, I think separate from all that stuff, you know, it was a great win. I think we learned a lot about our team. I mean, honestly, when I looked at that score and I'm watching the game, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to come back from this deficit.
Right.
You know, but look at what we saw. Look at what he did at halftime. Look at the adjustments. You know, a lot of credit to Wyoming. I think they took Utah State down to the last possession, didn't they? In Utah.
Yeah,
so
and they beat Nevada up there, right? So they played when they played Utah State at Utah. They hadn't played Utah State yet. They played Boise State. They lost 67-58, and they beat Nevada up there. They've not played Utah State. Oh yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
You're right. That was that opener, that December league game. It was a 3-point possession at Utah State. Yeah, 70-67. They lost in Logan by one possession. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I like watching the growth of athletes and how they progress throughout the season and adjustments, and I'm excited to see what this team can do.
Right on. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Let me ask you this. How do you think, first of all, do you think the number one team in the country who was undefeated going into last night is any good?
Yes.
All right. So let me give you a little perspective. And I'm not going to argue that going to Florida is the same as going to Laramie. Okay. Florida's a way better team. Florida's a national contender. How do you think the opening drive in Knoxville, Tennessee is this morning? Tennessee was undefeated. They shot 18% from the floor last night. They got beat by 30 points, their first loss of the season. Now, they learned a lesson last night like the Lobos did, except for the Lobos learned their lesson and won. Like, everybody's going to have an off night. Is Tennessee any good, dude? Do you think Tennessee's pretty good?
Yes.
They're damn good. They got ripped by 30 last night. I get it. It's going to happen. And if your off night was an off half and you were able to come back and win, well, it was just Wyoming, Jeff, and they only scored. No, whatever, man. Whatever. Ask Tennessee fan how they're feeling this morning. I'm really interested how that's going. Wow, we suck and we can't win this. Dude, you got one loss on the season. JD, good morning. You're on the Sports Channel.
Yeah, Jeff, you stole my thunder. That's exactly what I was going to say. Because on Tuesdays I come home and I start watching basketball, and I watched that one. And at one point, Tennessee was 1 for 24 from 3.
Yeah, they couldn't shoot. Yeah,
and that's the number one team in the country. Like you said, they got beat by 30. And then Marquette was down by 14 or 16, and they came back and won.
Yeah.
And I will say at halftime, I told my wife, just turn the game off. I can't watch this anymore. To her credit, she said, I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm going to stick with it.
That a girl.
We ended up watching the whole thing, and they did pull it out. But how are they going to get Zeal straight by Saturday?
Well,
and what do you do? I mean, what do you do? Because Patino said he got in his own head last night, right?
Looked like it.
And he's talked himself out of making shots. And I don't know. Now, on the Journal post-game conference, Donnie said the most positive guy in the locker room was Zeal.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that, dude. Like with all due respect, he had a bad night. Again, there's guys I worry about. I had a bad night. I watched enough of that guy that I guess maybe that's naive on me. JJ, are you worried about Zeal because he had a bad night?
I'm not worried.
Yeah, but JD, you are.
But in time for Saturday, right? That's the thing, because True has not been great all year. I've been waiting for him to get more consistent and bust out. And what I didn't plan on was Zeal just disappearing, because the game before, he did not play well either against Boise State. He did not play well. So I just don't know if we have – think about if we have 4 guys scoring in double figures, or 5.
Really
Sometimes we have 5.
Yeah, I think you got to find another scorer.
And that's when we're really hard to beat.
Yeah, I think you got to find another consistent scorer, and it's going to be Zeal. All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks. Yep. Glad his wife kept him watching the game. He woke up this morning and go, what the hell did I miss? Right? I mean, that a girl. She gets it. Like, one half is you had a bad half. But I'm going to tell you, man, go find Knoxville radio. I mean, they're probably losing their freaking mind today, right? Yeah. If I know fans, they probably went into that. We're the best team in the country. Nobody can beat us. And they got run off the floor by 30. And we stink. And Pearl's got to pull his head out of his tuchus, right? It's not Pearl. It's the old Texas
Rick
coach,
Barnes.
Rick Barnes.
Bruce Pearl's going to have to be in that game at some point.
Yeah, he's going to be number one now at Auburn, though, right? Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. I'm really curious. Where are you? Good, tough, gritty win, or what? I mean, I'll read them. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All-in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Lobos win in Laramie. They were down. They scored 18 points in the first half and then win 61-53. Relax. So don't you hear? I said I'm not saying. How did I preface that? Saying playing Florida is not the same as playing Wyoming, right? Right? I get it. Florida's a national contender. And then the text came in. Jeff, you're comparing playing a top 10 ranked Florida to playing Wyoming on the road? I think those are two completely different animals. Credit to Lobos for coming back. I don't understand how True is getting time over Nolan or even Applehans. He's a turnover machine and forces bad shots leading to transition buckets for the other team. Patino continues to play him despite not being one of the best players on the court. It's frustrating to watch. No, what I'm comparing.
Oh, the true Washington that had 0 turnovers last night.
Is that how many?
Like True's,
that's too damn many.
True has been frustrating to people because it's the expectations.
Yeah.
You thought he was going to take a bigger leap. He forces things at times, trying to find his offense within this offense. He plays a little outside of it. You do see that with True Washington, no doubt about it.
I think there's a lot going on there.
But then you also, despite that, plus 13 was the second best on that team last night.
As far as the plus-minus ratio. Yeah. Next to the plus 16 for Milicevic. And no, I'm not comparing. What I was comparing was the fan bases. And I prefaced it to the texter, and I appreciate the text. I really do. Preface it by saying I understand playing Florida, who's a national contender, a legitimate national championship contender, is not the same as going to Laramie. But what I did compare was the feeling of having a bad game, having a bad half. You had a bad half. Tennessee was undefeated and got blued out by 30 and shot 18%. How are their fans feeling? That was my comparison.
You have a bad half on Saturday.
You're probably not coming back.
Not coming back.
Yeah.
Even at home.
Yeah.
But that is the difference, and that's why all things are not created equal, and you have these conversations.
This one is from John of the Duke City. It says 61-53 UNM men's basketball team now 14-3 on the season. Actually, they're 13-3. It says, hell yeah. Wyoming got what they deserved, a loss. LOL. Thanks, Jeff. JJ Buck. Oh, yeah, JJ. What it do, bro? Later, guys. He gave you a what it do.
What it do?
What it do? This one says, great win last night. Getting out of a historical trap game in Wyoming will be big at the end of the season. Utah State is bound to stumble sooner or later, at least. And last night's win could be the difference in regular season conference championship or not. Well, it could have been if you lost, certainly. Look, man, this is one of those years where not only JJ, and I've mentioned this, I think not only do you have to serve at home, and you do, you're going to have to beat the teams you're quote unquote supposed to beat on the road. And so if that means you go, what are we playing? 20 games? Is that what league schedule is this year? Is it 20? Does that mean, is 16-4 going to win this league?
Because we're looking at Utah State and New Mexico 5-0 right now.
So 16-4 would theoretically, and it won't play out this way, theoretically would mean you win your home games and lose at, whether so let's take New Mexico, for example. You lose in San Diego, Logan, Reno, and Boise. Or if you're San Diego State, and now you already dropped one to Utah State, but you would lose, in Logan, Albuquerque, Boise, and Reno, right? You think that's about what it's going to take?
I think that is a good baseline to start at.
16-4?
Yeah.
All right. Dean says, morning, nice road win in Laradice, Wyoming. Did NMSU Aggie game do something to change this team? Or is it the improvements of some of the rural guys? I think, Dean, and JJ, I'm really curious what you think on this. I think what the Aggie game did is take away any margin of error, wake them up to the urgency of every single game. Because if they had not lost that game, you can drop a game on the road in this league, in Laramie, in Fort Collins, in Vegas. And that's the other one that's really tricky, is Vegas, because they got beaten Boise last night. But that one, that's what I think the New Mexico State game did. I don't know where you fall out on this.
It plays a role. Throughout the season, there's moments that change you, that spark you, that lead into something else. So if they win that New Mexico Stadium, are they still 5-0 in conference play? That's an outcome that's possible as well. But they used it as fuel. Rich Pitino definitely did. He didn't want that team to forget that performance against New Mexico State, and it's got them to this point so far in the season.
Yeah. All right. Elsewhere in the league last night, I didn't give you the scoreboard. You alluded to Utah State going to 5-0. They win in San Jose. Utah State 85-78 over the Spartans last night in San Jose. Colorado State pounds Fresno State at home. This was up in Fort Collins, 91-64. And late night, Boise State handled UNLV. They were up by 19 at halftime and held on 81-59. Tyson Degenhardt had 21 at 11 for the Broncos, who are 4-1 in league play. Tonight, you get one more. San Diego State at home against Air Force. That's an FS1 game at 8:30 tonight. And then Saturday, you get that full slate with the Aztecs here in the pit, 11 o'clock in the morning. UNLV will be at Colorado State, Nevada at Fresno. Boise State at Utah State. It's a really interesting game on Saturday night. And San Jose State Air Force is what you get. But some interesting stuff around the league last night. And now there you go. When we come back, my doppelganger had a league game. A league game against Michigan, which sounds so weird. And boy, did he not hold back after the game. Mick Cronin went bonkers on his team last night. Get into what the UCLA coach had to say. And is it appropriate? Let you decide. Hey, I've been telling you about IPS for, as long as I can remember now. Why? Because I trust IPS. International Protective Service protects my home. They protect homes and businesses all around Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They install alarms and camera systems. They've got state-of-the-art facility that monitors those cameras 24/7. All of this raises the level of security around your home and your business. Why? Because property crime's on the rise. Because if you haven't been a victim, you know someone who's been a victim. Don't wait to be a victim before you call IPS. It's affordable, private security that'll keep you safe and protect what you've worked so hard to build. Who's watching your home when you're not there? You can't be there all the time. A quick response to your alarm or standing guards at your business, It's what IPS does. You sleep better at night. Understanding you can't prevent all the crime, but if you've got no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. Call IPS. Have them protect what you've worked so hard to build. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
It's it, right? It's your net, and that's going to play a big part in your net ranking, and you get it. You're going to be watching New Mexico State. You need them to win because, well, you lost to them. And your big win is UCLA. UCLA is ranked 22nd in the country. They played a league game last night against Michigan. This is the new Big Ten. In fact, they're ready to go on a cross-country trip now and go to Maryland and Rutgers for league play because, of course, UCLA should be playing Maryland and Rutgers in league play. JJ, UCLA was up by 4, 55-51, with 14 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the game at home last night against Michigan in Pauley Pavilion. They were up 14-13. 55-51 with 14-13 to go. They were up 61-60 midway through the half. They got outscored 34-14 down the stretch. They got blown out at home by Michigan last night, 94-75. Now, it's a bad loss. They've lost 3 out of 4, which is not good for Lobo fan. JJ, Mick Cronin after the game, and I always wonder how people feel because I always go back to when Craig Neal called out his team. And people around here lost their mind on Craig Neal. How can he call out his players? It's his fault. Remember when Craig said you can't coach effort? And people just lost their stuff. This is Mick Cronin, UCLA's coach, last night after UCLA's loss.
But we don't play. We're soft. So don't tell me you want to win. Just don't tell me you want to win. So don't tell me you want to win. It's crazy. And it's every day. I'm tired of it. It's every day. I have the most energy of anybody at practice every day. I'm upset with everybody in that locker room, my assistant coaches and my players. I don't need to do anything else. I almost got 500 wins. I'm only 53. It's a joke. It's a joke. But yet I come in and I have more passion and energy and pride than everybody in. That's the problem. So what the truth of it has been, it's really hard to coach people that are delusional. The hungry dog gets the bone. We got guys that think they're way better than they are. They're nice kids. They're completely delusional about who they are.
Wow. What do you think of that? Is that too much? He called it for what it is. They're delusional. They're nice kids, but they think they're better than what they are. Are you okay with it? Would you be okay with it if it was your coach calling out your team like that?
Yeah, I think it's honestly the standing you have as a coach in the program.
Yeah. Right.
The expectations, and it can only be a moment. You can't go back to it. This is kind of you're swinging for the fences, trying to make your mark right now by going public without putting everyone on blast. It's one of those kind of make or break moments for your team when you're talking like that.
Because we're going on a road trip now, and we've never really had a deal, right? In the history of UCLA, your big road trip was going all the way up to Washington. Now you're going to Maryland. Now you're going to Rutgers. Two good teams. These are league games. This is your new world, man. I'm okay with the timing of it. You were up by 4 with 14 minutes to go, and you got beat by 20 at home. You were up 61-60 midway through the half, and you got, 19, 94-75. You got run out of your own building. The 94 points you gave up was the most in a non-overtime game that UCLA's given up since the 2019-2020 season. I mean, UCLA should not be getting run out of their building by anybody, let alone and Michigan's good. Don't get me wrong, man. Michigan's nice. But they shouldn't be getting run out like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I got a problem with a coach calling out his team like that. If, in fact, they're soft, as he said, and if, in fact, they're delusional, as he said, and they think they're better than they are, look, man, I'm sure he's told them that before in private. Now it goes public. People will lose their mind over it. How can it's the coach? It's got to be the coach. Coach has to get them ready to play. I don't know, man. I've told you for years. I believe players make plays. I don't think a coach should have to get them ready to play every damn night. I'm curious what you think. 505-246-0610 with another hour to go on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
All right, Mick Cronin calls his team soft. The UCLA Bruins lose again. You need UCLA to win, Lobo fan. You need you to win, and you did last night up in Laramie, Wyoming. Lobos came back from a 14-point second half or halftime deficit. Came back and beat the Pokes last night, 61-53. Even covered the spread. How do you feel if you bet the Lobos last night? Halftime, you were done, huh? I mean, it was 6.5 points. I don't know what it closed at. When we looked at it yesterday, it was 6.5.
Yeah, 6. We were talking about 6.5. I saw it at 7.5. So.
Either way, they covered it. Yeah, they covered it. If it was 7.5, you covered by the hook. Yeah, you weren't feeling good about it until you felt good about it. Is that a bad beat if you're Wyoming? If you're on Wyoming? Yeah. I mean, it kind of is, right? That game was right. I mean, you had that the whole time. All right, 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Glad you're with us. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks. You can watch us over on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, or if you have Xfinity, it's on channel 26. Mike, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you
Good morning. Thank you both for taking my call, for producing a great show. Everything's great. I watched the game last night because I bet the Lobos on the spread, and I finished the game, watched them cover. It was fantastic. My thought on this is exactly like following what you just posted or what you just produced from the UCLA coach. It's like I think that kind of feeling of I'm trying harder than everybody else. I think that's a lot of it how fans feel. Like the fans are like, oh my gosh, are we in a lot of trouble? Are we going to make the tournament? Like all this overreaction from the Lobos, win yesterday, even though it might not have been the performance that they wanted. But I think one thing that's hitting people is like mediocrity. Mediocrity is like, playing at your opponent's level, which is all cool. Wins are wins. But when it comes to the selection committee and the tournament, you want to be blowing these teams out. This is exactly how Indiana got itself into the college football playoff, which as it turned out, they probably didn't deserve to be there. There was probably better teams. But because they were blowing everybody out and not having these, trailing at halftime, coming back to win against teams that they should win, then I kind of think that's how they got in. And I think that the Lobos have, 13-3, I think.
Yep.
Set for the tournament. But I think the fans and everybody would relax a whole lot more and feel a lot better if we would just, wax and blow out the teams that we should wax and blow out, regardless of the situation. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Have a great day.
That's good. I look, I think the committee understands road games in leagues. Bottom line is, now, if the committee is going to go back and stare at the first half and say, oh, they only scored it 13, do you think the committee's sitting in a room in March going, well, I don't know, New Mexico and Dayton, let's see. I don't know, New Mexico only scored 18 points in the first half in Laramie on January 6th. No, they won, and in fact, boys and girls, they covered the spread. Now, wax teams they should wax, and I always am cautious of that. I tell you all the time, the other guys are on scholarship too, right? The other guys' coaches get paid, and they have bonuses, they have video equipment, they have scouts. Right? Now, they were without their best player. That was one of the factors we're not even talking about that was concerning to me in the first half. Like, damn, dude, you're getting run out of the building and they don't have their best player. To your credit, tough, gritty, 17-1 run to open the second half. You came back and established your dominance. I don't think last night is going to hurt you at all. You won a game on the road where you came back to win. In fact, I think it's going to help you way more than it's going to hurt you, because you're going to learn how to come from behind. You're going to learn you've been behind before and you can come back. It's not going to hurt you in the eyes of the committee because you won, and you won by a comfortable number. 8 is comfortable. Should you be blowing Wyoming out? I don't know. Utah State at home only beat that team by 3.
Well,
Utah
you get
State's
the opportunity to do it again, though.
Yeah, at home.
That's why, I'm not overanalyzing the margin of victory in a game where you're down by 14 points at that.
Yeah, look, Utah State lost to that or beat that team by 3 points in Logan, right? It's not a horrible team. Is it a really good team? No, I'm not telling you it's a great team. But it's not a horrible team. Now, they were without their best player, and that's concerning. But I get what you're saying. Look, when you had double-digit win on the road in Fresno, a convincing win on the road at Fort Collins, a convincing win on the road in Laramie. The only blemish you really have, look, you lost to a good Arizona State team. You lost to a good St. John's team. The only blemish you really have is that New Mexico State thing right now. So you're okay. I just, JJ, I see what he's saying. And I just don't think I believe that the committee is going to go, well, I don't know, man. They only beat Wyoming by 8. And they're sure as hell not going to go back and look, 18 points the first half. So what, you had a bad half. How much do you think getting blown out by 30 is going to hurt Tennessee's seed? They're still a number 1 seed right now, aren't they? They got beat by 30 last night. 30. So I get it. I get where you're coming from, and we react to these things. But look, I think you're okay. Text line: when longtime BYU basketball coach Frank Arnold retired on his final visit to the pit, he was asked about playing in front of 18,000 raucous fans. He said, "Do you mean 18,000 referees?" Listening to the comments from show participants this morning, it feels like we had 18,000 head coaches. We're 5-0 in conference play for the first time in 37 years, the old WAC days. Enjoy the ride, Lobo fans. And it has fans in quotes. That's a really good perspective.
No, it's kind of the point, though. We are pretending to be coaches after the fact. We're talking about the game, breaking it down.
Yeah, that's what you saw. But I think the back end of it is you are 5-0 for the first time ever in Mountain West play. 5-0 for the first time in 37 years, going back to the old WAC days. You had a gritty come from behind victory. Hey, look, every game isn't going to be playing ahead, blowing people out. Every game isn't going to be that way. Look, the game, you got a break on Saturday or on Friday last week when you won that game of the buzzer, right? That game could have gone the other way, and you'd all have a totally different feel if Nelly doesn't pick that ball up and score. That's how close the margins are. You're 5-0 in league play. I totally agree with what that guy said. Enjoy it.
I think there's also a difference of everyone's attitude. Some people will say it's good enough, it's just Wyoming, but break down the game. It might sound critical, but you're just being real. Like, there's things with this Lobo team that they're not a good shooting team. You can tell me all you want. Like, oh, it's just bad. No, they're not a good shooting team. So if they could have colder stretches. Yep. But what I've seen throughout the season is they still grind. They don't let that affect their overall game. And that's 2 games in a row, Nevada and Wyoming, where the opponent's been able to take you out of what you want to do, and you've won. But then I've also watched this team up into those games control a game for 40 minutes against VCU, Colorado State, Fresno State. So they're showing you they're adaptable. This is what teams that compete for a conference championship do. They have those moments where you see them for 40 minutes and go, yep, I believe this team. And then they also have to crawl out of holes. You're playing 30-plus games, man. This goes for everyone in the season. And I get it was a different opponent, but the whole point is Tennessee. All right, you hit with a haymaker. And instead of getting back up, they actually just went 6 feet under. And it's how you deal with it. You play so many games, so many minutes. What do you do in those games? And this stretch for the Lobos, start conference play, and right before it with VCU, it's been really impressive.
I agree with you. I think you're there. This one's on, I think, McCronin, what the UCLA coach had to say, calling his players soft. It says, if as a athlete that is getting paid for your services, it should not be difficult for you to lock in and perform. If it's difficult for you to lock in, what the hell are you an athlete for? That's actually really interesting. Is it different now? Like when Craig Neal got called out for calling out his players, when people lost their mind around here, when he was the head coach, there was no NIL. Now it's legal. Now they're getting paid. Do you feel differently about a coach calling out his guys for being soft, for not giving effort, for being delusional, as Mick Cronin said? Do you feel a coach has more of a right now that these guys are making, all of them are making 6 digits?
I still think it's a line that you have to walk, understanding your team, your status, your expectations. Like, I think one of the things that really hurt Craig Neal too is just
they weren't winning
good basketball.
Yeah.
And I do not think that coaches can be absolved. Your job is to manage. These are still young people, even if they're getting NIL money. Like, your job is to teach them how to prepare each day, is to teach them what it takes to be there on the mental side of it. So to just assume that none of these guys have to talk to the team about efforts is, I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah, but the only time you're going to have these conversations is when you're losing, right? You're not going to call your team soft or call your team out when you're winning, right?
Of course, but you still, it's a part of the process of effort, energy, all this stuff, day to day, how you handle yourself. That's your job. Even if these guys are making NIL money, that's your job as a coach.
Yeah, fair. All right, we'll continue this. 505-246-0610 as you continue to ring the phones. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. It is the opening drive. Thank you for being with us on this Wednesday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
The Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Telling you the greatest win ever. Good, gritty win. Get them Saturday morning in the pit. Aztecs will play tonight. 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com on Smooth Jazz KNML. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Jeffrey.
Good morning.
What's happening?
Yeah, so just a couple of observations. You know, there was a time in the past where the Lobos, and I know circumstances change year to year, but Lobos didn't win at Wyoming at all, period, with even good teams. And so I'm, as a fan, I'm one of those that I am enjoying the ride. 5-0, 12-3. Had a couple of really good quality wins. But what's a little, and I hesitate using the word concerning, but for the purposes of this conversation, I'll say concerning. As a fan, is it seems like the Lobos, the floor psychology of the team, there's like a lack of leadership on the floor. And last night, their dismal performance in the first half demonstrates that I think the actual attitude or psychological leader of the team is Pitino himself. Think about what he did. He almost invoked his attitude, his psychological will on the team, and he said as much on the interview from first half to second half. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Coaches like Bobby Knight and others in the past have also demonstrated that same kind of will, attitudinal, psychological will. And I think that says a lot about Pitino himself. Besides the mechanics and adjustments that were made, I think, Pitino himself demonstrated his leadership by invoking his will on the team, and they were just a completely different-looking team. So for me, they're 5-0 in the league, a great road win. In fact, 3 of their 5 road wins are on the road, which didn't happen in the past very often.
That's right.
So I'm happy, but I just wanted your thoughts on the leadership of the team, where that's coming from.
Well, that might be
Sometimes
right.
So for me, I think it comes from Pitino a majority of the time, and that's not a bad thing. I think it's good.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
JJ, what do you think? Because I think in the past, would you said there was more on-floor leadership? And it's hard to say.
I guess, how do you quantify that?
Exactly. That's where I was going.
So you're 1 for 16 in the first half. You don't have leaders?
So, well, okay, to me, it's a couple of different things. Right.
You're 10 of 16, then all of a sudden you're a leader?
Yeah, you had a bad shooting night. A bad shooting half. I
think it's a great conversation in sport because it goes back to what we were just talking about, just the mentality, coaching effort, things along those lines.
Well, I don't know that sitting outside of a locker room or outside of a team know who the leaders are. Like your leader could be CJ Nolan, right? Last year it's easy to say, House was a leader because he was vocal. I don't know, was he or was he not? Maybe.
And
he was.
I think that's one of the hardest things. I get where Jeffrey is coming from, but you're playing basketball. You're out there. If you don't execute a play, you miss a shot. Like, what point do we feel there's not a leader?
Yeah, and I don't think because to your point, because you shot one of your first 16 or 5 of 27 in the first half, that you didn't have a leader. And this is where I'm not. He says, "Well, I'm concerned." I'm not concerned, man. You had a bad half, and you won the game by 8 points on the road. Like, am I concerned that my concern is no bigger than it was going into yesterday. My concern the whole season was what? What I tell you, my biggest concern about this team when they opened camp was do they have a shooter? Do they have a consistent sniper? The answer is no, right? Now, does that mean they can't go deep? It doesn't. My concern is no more or less about them.
How many points per game are they scoring? Not being a 3-point
the
shooting
9th highest scoring team in America, right? 80 is it 87? Something crazy like that. Right, but that was my. So, do I have any more concern about them than I did a day ago? No, they had a bad shooting night on the road, and in fact, they had a bad shooting half on the road, and came back, started the second half 17-1, and won the game by 8 points on the road. So, I guess I'm not concerned. To Jeffrey's point about leadership, yeah, I think Richard's a good leader. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good leader. I think he's in charge of his program. Yeah. All that is true. Now, who's the leader of this team? I don't know. Is it Pitino? Is there an on-floor leader? Everybody demands it to be Donovan Dent because he's your best player.
Well, and I guess my follow-up would be, how do you see that then? Like, watching them just play basketball,
yeah,
what makes you feel like, there's leadership there?
Right. We all think, we know who the leader is because we watch them. I mean, look who's vocal on the court. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is. But you and I aren't there every day, and so we don't know who the leader. It could be CJ Nolan. Hell, it could be somebody you have no idea it is, right? Or it could be nobody.
But what I'm asking is how do you see that then? Like if Jeffrey is watching a basketball game,
right,
I should just say then, what does he makes him feel like? Oh, that player's a leader.
Yeah, and maybe it's just from what's vocal. Some guys lead by example. I mean, was Jamal Mashburn?
Well, when are you being vocal? Is it like
look,
after a call and you're screaming it? Because Donovan, if you watch the game, like we don't see every single minute of these guys. This is in the road games, but at home, like you're going to the huddle, you're talking, you're having conversations at the free throw line.
Right. I think they're fine, dude. I look, again, they are 5-0 for the first time in the history of their existence in this league. That's 26 years. They're 5-0 for the first time in league play in 37 years. They've won 3 games on the road relatively convincingly.
Right? And that's actually far down on my list of things I'm thinking about because...
Which is what?
Of worried about if there's a leader on this team because of the way they played this year. I've watched them control games for 40 minutes. I've watched them not play well and win conference basketball games. To me, that's a sign of a good basketball team.
I absolutely agree. Am I worried about, oh my goodness, they who's their, like, all I know is, man, they're playing pretty well. And I know want to get critical, and I know you want to win every game by 30 and dude, you've been challenged once in league play, right? I guess San Jose State challenged you in that opener, right?
Yeah, it's San Jose State's pesky, man. Watch what they're doing. What they did last night.
They played Utah State tough last night.
And these are to win a conference championship. You're going to have games where you're feeling good, you're winning by double digits. You're going to have the games where you come back, and then you look ahead and go, all right, it gets real. When you go up against San Diego State, you see Boise State and Utah State.
Yeah, all that's right. All right, keep them coming at 505-246-0610. I haven't clicked on this link, and I'm not sure I'm going to. Lynn said, reply to Rudy C. Jeff, he asked why some folks are always doom and gloom. I wish over the holidays the OD would have replayed the show from the day Bronco was hired. And she sent me a link. I'm not sure where it's going, and I didn't listen to it. I honestly, I don't want to listen to it because I'm not in a real space right now where I want to get doom and gloom. Is that fair?
Was it doom and gloom on that day, or was
what I'm going to guess is, this is a great hire, and then look what happened.
And then,
yeah, that's what I'm going to guess. That's what I'm going to guess, because everybody's just waiting for that shoe to drop, right? Everybody's just waiting to get beat up. I imagine. All right, I want to hit some more NFL stuff. We talked about earlier, but if the audience turns over quite a bit. Cowboy fan, what does it mean to you that Jerry Jones, the owner of your team, denied the Bears permission to speak to his head coach? His head coach, who next Tuesday night at midnight will be a free agent if he's not re-signed. There's a negotiating period in which only the Cowboys can talk to Mike McCarthy. Exclusive negotiating period. McCarthy is free to go talk with other teams then, but not now. It's got to tell you he's staying, right? I mean, the biggest jerk move, the biggest Richard move, the biggest, a-hole move would be to not bring him back, yet deny him the opportunity to seek employment somewhere else. And I got to believe the Bears, if they don't have a coach by the 14th, which is next Tuesday night, really next Wednesday, will be well down the path to having identified a coach by then. What does it tell you? I mean, it's got to tell you, right? Where else is this going? If, in fact, Jerry Jones isn't good. I mean, would he do it? Sure he would. I mean, sure he would. But it would be it's just such a bad look. It's such a bad dude move. McCarthy says, I have a lot invested here. The Cowboys have a lot invested in me. And there's personal side of all these decisions. They all point the right direction. I think anytime you invest your time, energy, your belief, the connection you have, the relationships that are in place, the understanding of what an organization can do and is willing to do, those are all positive attributes that you can take into account. But absolutely, I'm a builder. I believe in building programs. I believe in developing young players. So at the end of the day, it's about winning. You have to have those components in place to get this thing where it needs to be. I think we have a very good foundation here. end quote. He said he absolutely wants to return. Cowboy fan, I got to believe it's pointing that way. Is he your problem, or look, man, bring in whoever, pick your guy. If not him, who? Who do you want? You're not getting Vrabel. Who do you want? Who's your guy? Ben Johnson? Why would Ben Johnson go there? Why would a first-year head coach go there to be someone's puppet? Especially a first-time coach who's got an opportunity to go many other places. Ben Johnson's the guy who could pick his spot right now, right? Don't you think? The offensive coordinator of the Lions? Probably. Bears, New England, Jaguars. He's probably your guy, right?
Yeah. He's someone I would like with Jacksonville.
100%. I agree with you. Yeah. I totally agree with you. It was Urban Meyer. Yeah, that worked really well. All right, 505-246-0610. We got quarterback situations. We've talked about it a lot. Seattle. Want to talk about a little purgatory? What are you going to do? I'll tell you next. And we'll go through some other quarterbacks and look at the list of free agent quarterbacks. You can pick who you want to save your franchise. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust.
There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Argue on Stroud, but okay. So what do you do? If you got one, do you hold on to him? That's kind of what the Cowboys did, right? Got Dak Prescott. I'm going to hold on to him. Geno Smith just finished his third season as starting quarterback in Seattle. Mike McDonald's their head coach, and he wants there to be a fourth. Quote, this is another one of those teams. What are they going to do? I want Geno to be here. I think he's a heck of a player. First thing it always comes back to is what's best for the team. I feel like Geno is best for the team right now. I'll be involved with it. Ultimately, it's not my decision. It's the Seahawks' decision, but Geno knows how we feel about him. We love him as our starting quarterback for sure. That's a quote. He's got a 3-year, $75 million contract he signed after the 2022 season. I don't know that they've got a whole lot of options, dude. Like, where are they going? Right?
This is a little bit of just survival mode. How are you going to compete? And if you're Seattle, like for us right now, keeping Geno in-house is the best option in front of them
again
at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, you listed the free agent quarterbacks, or the potential free agent quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers isn't on here. Aaron Rodgers might be a free agent quarterback. Might.
We'll see. I think the name we can put on this list, I just didn't yesterday with what I was doing, was Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins could be on here. Yeah.
Released. These guys are legit out of contract.
Kirk Cousins is going to get a job, right? Kirk Cousins is going to be somebody's Hail Mary.
Because you look at the list we put together, you know, we're talking about Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston. There's not a guy that you look and you can say, all right,
not one.
This is Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Because it's not a younger quarterback that was hyped. Like, these are all veteran backups. Like, you have to take a step back and go, if Sam Darnold can do it, Baker Mayfield can do it. Heck, you know, Geno Smith to a lower level of that. This isn't that list.
There's 2 guys that fit that profile. Maybe there's 3 guys who fit that profile. There's 4 guys who fit that profile. High draft picks on this whole list. There's 4 guys that were high, you know, top 5 draft picks that just need another shot, and that would be Justin Fields and Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, and Marcus Mariota. That's it. And those guys, I think you've seen enough. If you have eyes, you realize that's probably not the answer, right?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is 30, whatever he is, coming off an Achilles and wasn't good. Aaron Rodgers is 41, coming off an Achilles. He'll be 2 years removed and comes with a whole lot. Seattle's interesting, dude. Is Seattle that team that thinks they're a quarterback away? If they decide to move off of Geno,
they're not better with Rodgers or Cousins.
I don't believe they are either. Can they believe that?
Yes.
And I think that's where the danger lies. Yeah, I think that's where the danger lies. You look at what they've got. They've got 2 good running backs. They got 3 good receivers, a decent defense, a pretty good offensive line. Like there's a lot in Seattle. When you say Metcalf, Smith and Jigba, Lockett still can play. You've got Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. You got two good backs, a defense that can make some plays. Like, they're not that far away. Geno was not really good this year. You put his numbers down here, right? And I know you did. This year, 4,320 yards. That's fourth in the league. 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He turned the ball over way too much in critical times. There were a lot of red zone interceptions by Geno. It's just too many. He can't turn the ball over. Like, so if you're sitting in the front office, are you trying to convince yourself we're just a quarterback away? We'll be the ones that get that out of Rodgers. Not with a second-year head coach. Rodgers ain't your guy. Kirk Cousins, you know what? He'll work here. We've seen him, and now he'll be 2 years off of the Achilles, and we can get him at a bargain rate.
Cousins was a turnover machine.
He was horrible.
He
was horrible.
And is that all just the no confidence in his leg and the Achilles wasn't strong enough? That's possible, but I really don't think your ceiling changes that much for Kirk Cousins versus Geno Smith.
Let me ask you this: the other route would be, and I don't know where in this would lie. Trades. Darnold's the guy. What entices Minnesota? I guess they can't, right? If you franchise the guy, you can't trade him. Is that correct?
I believe there has to be some type of timeline on franchise tag players,
because that's where Darnold works. I mean, Darnold works a lot of places, but that roster's better than the Giants. There's just no way he goes back to the Jets, right? There's just that can't happen. I just don't. I mean, I guess it can. It's a better roster. Well, the Raiders aren't a horrible roster. The Raiders are not a horrible roster. They lack premier weapons at the skill positions. But it feels like of the teams that think they're a quarterback away, that might be them, and I'm not sure they do. Right? They may think Geno's their guy. Darnold there is really good.
I would agree with that. If I'm the Jets and it's entirely different management, coaching staff. Like, if he's available, you're having that conversation.
Does he want to do that?
Let's just say if Sam Darnold was a free agent.
Yeah.
And they'd offered him the biggest deal, yes.
I mean, somebody else would match it, right? I mean, so what's he, a $50 million quarterback? So they offer him, for $200 in Seattle, or I guess Vegas, and who else needs one? Giants need one. Giants are going to probably get one. Cleveland.
I think what Sam Darnold sees, and yes, it's weapons. He has great receivers in Justin Jefferson,
Jordan Addison. Great tight end.
But it's also stability just in terms of coaching.
Kevin O'Connell.
Because you look at all these places, and there's at least, you say, all right, they have one weapon. Okay. There's Malik Neighbors with the Giants. Mm-hmm. There's Garrett Wilson with the Jets. Mm-hmm. Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers.
Devontae Adams is still under contract there, right? Devontae Adams.
I think they're going to release him now.
You do?
Yeah.
Depending on what they do with Rodgers?
No, I think regardless what they do.
Because it's a lot of money. It's a hell of a free agent out there that somebody's going to get. Wherever Rodgers goes.
Go back to Vegas. Rodgers, Adams, Bowers.
Boy, that'd be interesting.
Myers.
I mean, it's the same ownership, but a new coaching staff there. I don't know that the coaching staff was the issue. He just wasn't getting the ball. He was really cranky with the quarterbacks. All right, let me get you these. I read you a couple of things earlier regarding Mick Cronin, the UCLA coach. And he was critical, and he called his team out for being soft last night. And he said, I'm sick of it, and I got the most energy every day, and these guys are delusional. So Terry says, I don't have a problem when a coach like Cronin calls out his team, but I got an issue when the coach says how great he is in the same statement, and it's everyone else's fault, including ass coaches. Fair enough. I mean, he said, I don't have any, basically, I got nothing to prove. I got almost 500 wins on 53. I'm mad at my assistant coaches. All right. So Terry didn't like the way he basically absolved himself of any of the blame, right? And said that he's the dude. I'm good, but it's everybody else. All right, fair enough. This one says the Mick Cronin conversation is an interesting one. The Inside the NBA guy said something similar, saying that it's hard for NBA players to get up for games against teams missing their best players. They were talking about the Lakers getting blown out by the Mavs, missing Kyrie and Luka. But at the end of the day, all these guys are getting paid. Why should you need a coach to help you get up for any game? It's from Travis. JJ, I've said this for years. Now, for any game, I don't know, man. When you play, 82 in the NBA, you play 30. Is there going to be a night you're off? Yeah, there is. You got life going on. You got whatever, I get why you're not up for every game. But JJ, I am going to push back a little bit that it's different now than it was, 5-10 years ago for college players. They are getting compensated now. You got a guy making $250,000 a year to play college basketball, or $500,000 a year, or whatever. Yeah, at some point, yeah, you are obligated to show up and play every night, aren't you?
Yeah, but
there's a fine line.
Making NIL money does not make you older than you are.
That's a great point. It's actually really good. It's actually a really, really good point. And it's fair. All right, 505-246-0610. We'll close you out when we get back. Still have time for you to get in. Emails Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. Everything you got to know as you go through today. What day is today? Ooh, I got some on the golf score. It's the opening drive. Jeff and JJ on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today. If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety.
10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Coast. How can they? All right. There you go. Use that to your advantage. Oh, and then there's the elevation. Richard Pitino used that last night. All right, you got some advantage. We'll talk about the San Diego State game going forward. Yeah.
Elevation, crowd.
Mm-hmm. Rest. Right? All of that. All that's real. Hey, I want to hit you on this before we get out of here. The Kelseys are always a little entertainment. So the Broncos beat the Chiefs, what was it, 38-0 on Sunday? The Chiefs played their B team, and there was talk that the Chiefs wanted to lose to get Denver in the playoffs and keep Cincinnati out. And Travis Kelce does that podcast with his brother Jason called New Heights. And Jason brought up to Travis that, all right, well, you guys lost because you didn't want to play it. Quote Travis Kelce now, and I'll clean it up. I ain't scared of bleeping nobody. I wanted them in the bleeping playoffs. I want to slay every dragon one by one like Mortal Kombat. I don't even want this to be like we play the lowest seed. Just give me the best teams. AFC, NFC, give me all of them. Mortal Kombat style. I'll go through every bleeping one of them. Just giving them my bleeping effort. I ain't scared of a single soul, man. End quote.
I buy that from Travis.
Yeah, I think that's
who's he scared of? Nobody.
Fair.
Like Joe Burrow's the one at Arrowhead once. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just check the resume, it's also check where they are right now. And I think looking at Week 18, And all these fan bases that are pissed off and like it's why they fired a coach because the Patriots won a game and they got to 4 wins. They just be like that. I think bad teams play harder at the end than good teams.
I think that's right.
Because Buffalo, Kansas City, they're playing, but they know they get to play again.
Mm-hmm.
The other teams don't. And so like, oh yeah, just go out there and play like Kansas City. Like the Patriots, there's a good chunk of those dudes that might not even be on an NFL roster next season.
And they're playing
the
for
fans are crying that they don't have the number 1 overall pick. I'm sorry you don't have Travis Hunter, man.
Yep.
But guess what? You can still get him if you trade up to 3.
And those guys don't give a bleep.
Because 1 and 2 are taking quarterbacks.
Yep. I think that's right. Continued quote, I'll play him in a Walmart parking lot. I don't give a bleep. We can have our own game in the offseason where we really duke it out. Listen, I love competing against the greatest. The Bengals were a fun-ass bleeping team to watch there towards the end of the season, and it's a shame they didn't make it in the playoffs because they would have made the playoffs that much bleeping crazier and that much more fun, end quote. I mean, cool. And do I feel bad for the Bengals? With all due respect, no. Games count in September, too. Their defense was bad. You can tell me how great Joe Burrow was, and you're right. Joe Burrow and that team had 5 straight victories at the end. Joe Burrow was really good. He was a league leader in passing touchdowns. He had 43. He had more passing yards, almost 5,000 than anyone else. Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown in receiving. Had the most receiving yards, most touchdowns, most receptions. Yeah, they were good, man. Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks. But do I feel bad for you guys? This is cut and dry as it gets. It's like you keep scoring, there's records. Did they lose some close games? Yeah, should have won them. You know what the Chiefs did? Win close games, didn't they? You know what the Steelers did most of the season? To put them in a position where they could lose 4 straight and get in the playoffs? They won close games. How bad do you want me to feel for him? Would it have been fun to watch Joe Burrow? If Joe Burrow was the 7th seed and it was Joe Burrow going to Buffalo this weekend, that would be the game. That'd be the game. Like, I mean,
but even as good as Joe Burrow is in the Bengals offense, you started 4-8. You dug your own.
And that matters. Right? And that matters. Like, if the Bengals were going to Buffalo this weekend, we'd have about half the people picking the Bengals, wouldn't we?
Yes, we would.
Now we had no one picking the Broncos.
That is true.
Win.
They're young. They're hungry. They're dangerous.
What did Kansas City do all year? Win close games.
Football games.
Close games, right? What did the Steelers do the first 2/3 of the season? They won close football games.
Over their skis.
Okay. But it put them in a position where they could lose 4 in a row down the stretch and get in the playoffs. With all due respect, man, it matters. I'm supposed to feel bad. Oh, Joe Burrow didn't get it. No, man. Win games. I like Joe Burrow. Don't get me wrong. I like watching Joe Burrow. I think he's really, really good. With the playoffs have been better with him in there. I don't know. I'm kind of fired up to see Bo Nix in the playoffs, too. I like me some Bo Nix because he'd have been in at the expense of Bo Nix. So, and good for Travis Kelce. I don't disagree with what he says. He's probably, I mean, he's telling you the way he feels, right? All right. What do you got tonight? So I get football tomorrow night, right? So what I get San Diego State and Air Force tonight. I don't even get the golf league tonight. I should have recorded it and I get to watch the back end of it.
That's what you should have done.
I know. You're not intrigued at all by that?
I never poo-poo sports.
Yeah.
But virtual golf
is pretty cool, man. So it's virtual when they hit it, and then
how is that cool? But yet, aren't they playing team golf?
Yeah, and then so like they come around the green, so there's sand traps.
Cooler than live golf?
Is it cooler than live golf? I don't know. It's different than live golf. I mean, it's golf. At least I can access it. I don't get the CW anymore.
Boom.
Well, seriously. I mean, how cool could it be if I can't see it?
If I can't see it, no, you can come out to the pit tonight if you wanted to. Lobo women are playing
okay. And that's an undefeated. It's on my list right here. Why do you give us
two of the 4 undefeated teams in Mountain West Play go at it tonight? And by the way, that's the next 3 games for the Lobos is the undefeated teams. Wyoming, you want to be at home Wednesday and Sunday, then at Colorado State. By the way,
yes,
definitely tune in UNM Sports Radio Network pregame, halftime, postgame. But Sunday's a national spotlight, CBS Sports Network game too for the women.
Saw that.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. It was promoted on the men's game last night, which is really cool. All right, JJ will crack the mic at 6:30 from the pit, 7 o'clock tip-off. You're by yourself this year, huh? No more Nikki?
It's been that way third year.
Is this the third year? Come on, man. She was there last year. I know she was.
No.
I'm kidding. You want me to come by and do analyst for you?
Sure. I love it. I would absolutely, if there was someone that would like to do the game, had the ability, it'd be awesome.
Rudy!
Well,
he's in Gallo. He's got his seats.
Preference to a former player where I can go along with the Lobo legend.
Yeah, because that's
kind
of
requisite. You are an Aztec legend, but I don't know how that will play on the Lobo radio network.
It's requisite, though, right? The analyst has to be Lobo legend. All right. Enjoy that tonight. JJ's got UNM women's basketball tonight, 6:30 pregame show. The Herd with Colin Coward's next. Jim Rome show follows that. 2 Men On is here at 4. JJ's on at 6:30. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Adrian always does terrific work producing our television side of it. Big day for you, I know.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Have a great call. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing, and we will smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Got shots?